I find scientific miracles in a book written by some guy in a cave that couldn't read and write. And even if he could, how the hell? There's like 100 to 200 scientific facts in that book that no one could have known. Like, for example, that the Dead Sea is the lowest point above sea level in the entire world. There was no way Muhammad could have known this. It's impossible. That's the same area that Sodom and Gomorrah, we believe, was smashed into the earth. That's why it's called the Dead Sea. And it turned out in the last century, we found out it is the lowest surface point on earth. How could the Prophet Muhammad have known that back then? If he types in, I just want people to hear this recitation, just to understand, and I think it's a good place to maybe we can pick it up next time. Type in on YouTube, Omar El-Hishami, The Pen, okay? And just listen to like how amazing this is. Most people have never even heard a recitation of this book. You understand? The Quran is not original in English. It is only original in the Arabic language. No, that's not it, brother. You're doing it wrong. Go back. Go, just type in O-M-A-R, not you, O-M-A-R, space, Hishabi, H-I, right there, no? H-I, there you go. Now click down, and go down one more, click that, and then put The Pen.
The Pen?
Yeah, space and then The Pen.
The Pen.
I want the audience to understand the difference. Now click this and let's just listen to a little bit. This is the verse of The Pen, the chapter of the Quran, The Pen. Look at how it's recited, Danny. This is the miracle of this book. No book is recited like this. I don't speak Arabic. I'm not an Arab. But tell me what you feel, even if you don't know the words.
والقلم وما يسطرون ما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون وإن لك لأجرا غير ممنون وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم فستبصر ويبصرون.
Pause. Which of you is afflicted with madness? So in this chapter of the Quran, a couple of things I just want to point out here. A, that's the Quran, brother. It's only original and it's Arabic. Do you see how it's sung? We believe that every other book God sent to earth was corrupted, and we can prove it. I can historically prove it whenever you want. They were corrupted. They were altered. There are contradictions in there that don't make sense to the original 10 Commandments. How can you tell me Jesus is God, and then in one verse he tells you, I'm not even good. Why are you calling me good? Only God's good. So which one is it? 10 Commandments said don't make pictures, don't make images, don't worship anything but God. But you guys are making pictures, statues, crosses, idols. Like, forget Muhammad. Explain. And I love how Christians go, well, what do the Muslims know? Because Muhammad came 600 years after Jesus. Well, how about Jesus came how many thousands of years after Moses? Who was he then to give a new rule or a new book? Your logic for that already, you cancel yourself out. They have no argument.
Right.
Against that. For you to argue, well, why did Muhammad come after Jesus? And then who was Jesus after Moses? And that's why I love Islam. Islam says that all of these prophets worked for the same boss. You're not allowed to make images. You're not allowed to pray to anything but God. You don't pray to Saint Peter or Saint anyone. You pray to God. He doesn't share his power with anyone. And I say he's not even because he's a man. We can't even comprehend this being. I find scientific miracles in a book written by some guy in a cave that couldn't read and write. And even if he could, how the hell? There's like 100 to 200 scientific facts in that book that no one could have known. Like, for example, that the Dead Sea is the lowest point above sea level in the entire world. There was no way Muhammad could have known this. It's impossible. That's the same area that Sodom and Gomorrah, we believe, was smashed into the earth. That's why it's called the Dead Sea. And it turned out in the last century, we found out it is the lowest surface point on earth. How could the Prophet Muhammad have known that back then? There was no way to have measured that or known. Anywhere in the world, no one could have known that. So when I see scientific facts, I know algebra came from Islam. The science and the technology, where would we be without algebra right now? But we would be as advanced as we are?
I mean, is it possible that humanity, different parts of humanity and civilizations were more advanced mathematically or technically?
I agree.
Than we are today?
There was some fusion.
And we lost knowledge?
Absolutely. It's either that or there was civilizations or different species that were on this planet that were locked into another dimension. One of my theories of the pyramids, I just came up with this recently because I been looking for ways to describe it for a long time. And I kind of covered this in our episode, but there was one theory that I never said on your episode when we discussed, is it aliens or demons? And that was a really big episode that I had with you. I think it was one of three things. Either A, they had knowledge that we no longer have. B, it was the demonic realm, the same way Solomon had the power to command the demonic realm. We know that Pharaoh was doing black magic. We can see that in the movie 10 Commandments when he throws his rod and Moses throws their rods and he has sorcerers and magicians. And I do believe black magic's real, 100%. I believe you can summon and work with that dimension. I believe we're in an interdimensional war in the aspect of the demonic realm versus humanity. They want to destroy us since before we were even created, the devil species, but not all of them, because the Muslims don't believe that all of them are evil. So what I think is going on is that maybe the ancient Egyptians worked with the jinn, they worshipped them, they did sacrifices, whatever they did, and they got knowledge from that demonic realm. The same way I proved to you on your show that Jack Parsons was doing all this crazy shit with Aleister Crowley. He's the reason we went to space, brother. How did Jack Parsons get to space? He tells you himself. We were doing all these rituals, and I was contacted by a being named Belial Dajjal. So just like we may have hypothetically advanced our technology today through demonic means, it's in Jack Parsons' autobiography. So for those of you that believe in that story, because I've seen your comments on my episode with Danny, if it worked now, imagine it, why wouldn't it work in the time of the Egyptians? To get knowledge that we don't possess, because that's what black magic is. You sell your soul to get knowledge or a power that you're not supposed to have. But you lose the hereafter. When you perform these rituals, you no longer have any shot of going to paradise. And I do believe there's groups of people that have sold their souls.
Where do you think this paradise is? Where do you think heaven is?
It's in a different dimension, I think. I think God is outside of the physical universe. Just like I'm outside of this pot. And God can see it. And that's why time doesn't apply, because they say time is circular once you're outside of it. So we're kind of like DVD players for God, probably. Who knows how many more species and creations he's made. We're like DVD collections that he could watch at any time. The all-seeing, the all-knowing. So for me, it's I agree with everything you said. Like I've made these jokes with people. I'm like, I know you think I'm fucking crazy. It sounds, for someone, I'm very analytical, man. Like extremely. Even I go, man, I sound like a fucking idiot. I believe some guy walked on water. I really do believe Jesus Christ walked on water. I believe he brought people back from the dead. But it wasn't his power. It was God that gave him that power. I know that there's a God, Danny. I've studied for 30 years of my life. I don't care if people believe in what I believe in. I am telling you, please look. Most people follow their religion like a tradition and not a true faith. Not something that they truly believe. My dad was Catholic, so I'm Catholic. My dad was Muslim, so I'm Muslim. But like, they don't know anything about their own faiths, let alone to judge other faiths. And that's the whole point of this entire episode. Seek knowledge. Stop getting your information from biased places. Like, if you want to know about Islam, ask a Muslim. Let them explain it to you. Stop asking some guy in your church whose only mission is to keep you in his church. Get your donation. Like, be fair to your discourse. Be fair to your search for knowledge. Be fair to the people you're learning about. Learn from them. Ask them. They're not going to bite you, I promise you. Some of the greatest people we look up to as Americans were Muslims. Malcolm X, who was full of hatred. He became a Muslim. That's why he died, when he actually became a true Muslim. He went from preaching hatred, the white man's the devil, to no, we're all brothers and sisters. Now imagine the switch on this guy. He sees the real Islam when he goes to Mecca. He comes back and gives his lecture. As soon as he gets off the airplane, he's like, I don't think all white people are the devil. I think we can actually live together if we all learn Islam. Bang, bang. Get your hand out of your pocket. Game over for him. The minute he started preaching the word, the true word of Islam.